down the field. Happy tossing dimes, cup $1 million deal. Fantasy football, better know it's real. Tune into the podcast, tell us how you feel. We be going live, best believe we talk.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Football from Up North podcast. I'm your host, Clayton, and joining me is my co-host, Tabby. What's up, bud?
Not much. Just ready to talk for some more football. I like that we're pounding out some consistency.
So far,
Fun.
that's why this will be two weeks in a row. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's like we should get together and have a couple beers over this one.
Yeah. Celebrate.
Exactly.
That's a streak, buddy.
It is. That's exactly what it calls. Yeah. So these episodes, we're going to do this episode we're doing today. You're obviously going to be listening to it. We're going to release, mostly for the time being, we're going to release an episode on Fridays and Mondays. Every week up until maybe training, halfway through training camps, and then we'll start amping it up and doing it more midweek rather than toward the end of the week at the beginning. So, but we'll get it figured out. Anyways, so last episodes we talked about some guys that are being drafted, too high, kind of guys that we weren't going to draft. How I'll put it like that. But today I want to talk actually some deep sleepers, guys that, technically are going very late in rounds, and it's beyond me how they're even dropping that low. But these guys are the guys you're going to want to have on your team, especially where they're being drafted. And you could even reach up a couple rounds to get a couple of these guys that we're going to name right now. And these are the guys that are going to win you your leagues. Technically, right? I mean, you always want to have your first, second, third round guys, hit. But, you also need those guys that you're drafting and, between rounds, let's say 8 and 11, you need some of those guys to hit too, right? In order to have, a well-balanced team. So that's what we're going to help you guys with today. We're going to throw out a bunch of names here, talk about it real quick. We'll let you guys know where they're being drafted and why they should be, why it's crazy that they're being drafted that long. So do you want to kick us off here, Javi?
Sure. Yeah. I'll kick us off actually in the running back position. This is a guy who has a chance at taking the role in Baltimore. Everybody's talking about J.K. Dobbins, but I think you could grab Gus Edwards pretty late in your drafts, and he's going to compete there. I mean, J.K. Dobbins they both tore their ACL last season. Dobbins' injury was a little more serious of the two. He also reportedly had a meniscus tear and some other damage to the side of his knee. So Dobbins is coming into the season after having a major knee injury. Gus had a little bit less severe knee injury. Dobbins is questionable for week 1. I mean, he's came out and said he's going to be ready to go after Rappaport called him out there.
I saw that on Twitter.
But I think that, Gus is probably going somewhere around the 16th round in most leagues. 16, I think his ADP is about 160 in the 160s.
Yeah, right now, as far as on Fantasy Football Calculator, I'm looking at it right now in a 12-team PPR league. He's going in the 13th round as the 59th ranked running back. So, yeah, that's insane to me, considering, the injuries of J.K. Dobbins and the fact that this team's a running team, right? They got a huge backfield right now. What they added Mike Davis, they got J.K. Dobbins, they got Gus Edwards. You got to remember, Gus Edwards was a beast last year.
Oh yeah,
up until he got hurt.
Good numbers. He averaged over 12 PPR points per game in 9, and at least 15 carries. So he was getting some work. So he's going to be back in the fold, and I don't think they're just going to throw Dobbins right into that number 1 role. I mean, Edwards, I think it's going to be almost a good timeshare there for Edwards at least.
Definitely. And especially at the beginning of the season, like say week 1, say they are both back, Harbaugh's not going to run one guy out here, 20 times, right? Obviously he's going to try to keep these guys fresh. That's why I think they did add a guy like Mike Davis just to kind of take that heat off a little bit, get him to spell these guys as well. I mean, I'm not touching Mike Davis, but
No,
I do like Gus Edwards, especially where he is getting drafted. And if
deep,
you're
deep,
looking
deep. Yeah.
if you need a running back 4 at that point, by all means, I would be jumping
It'd
all
be
over that.
ideal if you did have Dobbins, got Dobbins earlier in the draft, and
Yeah.
you obviously threw that safety blanket and Gus Edwards on your bench. But I think Gus Edwards has a good shot to, at least get half of these carries that they're dishing out in Baltimore this season.
Yeah,
Every
I
game.
agree with that. I agree. I'll jump over to the wide receiver position. This one just absolutely boggles my mind. We are going to talk about Alan Lazard. Take a look at what he did last year. He scored 8 touchdowns, almost 600 yards. This year, his yards per target last year was 8.6, and that's going to go up this year, being the fact that you lost Devontae Adams, you lost MVS. I believe there's going to be over 200 plus targets available in this offense. Somebody's going to catch those balls, right? I don't think we're going to see they still got Randall Cobb. They got Christian Watson, who they drafted, which is another guy we could even talk about as well. But as far as Lazard goes, to me, he has every opportunity to lead this wide receivers and to lead this wide receiver core in targets, receptions, and yards and touchdowns this year.
What do you think? What do you think is one of the reasons that he's being pushed down by everybody? Do you think it's just because he's been there for so long and he hasn't really shown that consistency with Rodgers yet? Or
I honestly have no idea. To be honest with you, I have no idea why he is currently being drafted so late. Maybe it's the fact that the addition of Christian Watson. They also added who's the other rookie that they added? Romeo Dubs or Dubs. Yeah. So I wonder if they're feeling as though they don't trust the Packers don't trust Lazard. But Rodgers has come right out and said it. He's excited for the opportunities that Lazard's going to get. And when you got a quarterback talking you up, that usually means good things, to be honest with you.
He's got to say good things.
Yeah, that is true. Somebody's got to be there to catch the ball, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as far as Lazard goes, going right now in the 10th round, he has moved up a little bit from the last time I was looking at this, but as far as that goes, I'm all over Lazard in the 10th round. I would probably even reach for him, maybe depending on what your draft looks like at the time. I wouldn't be against going to grab him in the 8th round, considering you could technically have, a wide receiver 1 on your hands in the 8th round, which is huge.
Yeah, I am actually surprised that he's going that late for the opportunity, like you said. He has the most chemistry with Rodgers out of the guys there. So
the biggest thing is his 8 touchdowns last year. So he only had a 66% catch rate last year. Which is decent, but I think over the offseason, I think that'll improve. Right now, I think he realizes the opportunity that he does have, and he's not going to let that go away. They signed him to a 1-year deal, I believe. So this is a make it or break it year for him. That's why I do think he's going to ball out. I think it's going to be good. You got another guy on your list?
Yeah. I'm actually going to talk a little bit about Ronald Jones right now.
I like it.
He's found a new home in Kansas City. We didn't. I don't think CH is the guy that we thought he was going to be there, and I think Jones comes into a situation where he can carve out a role in this backfield, and you're gonna get him late. He's going in like probably the 13th round-ish, around 125 ADP right now.
Yeah, depending on where you're looking, that's the problem. We got to, if we're consistent, we'll most likely get onto there's 18 different places. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to 125 to 130 that range. Anyway, but the Chiefs backfield, like I said, CEH hasn't taken the reins there, and as that would make Jones the much less interesting of the both, just because Clyde is little bit better of a pass catcher, and they have lost a lot of catches in their receiving core, so they're going to have to be split up somewhere with the exit of Tyreek Hill. But Jones is a dynamic runner, and he has that big playability and the size and the power to produce near the goal line, which is where I think he's going to make most of his fantasy money, is in that red zone, in that third down role, in on the goal line, getting his touchdowns in the short yardage. And the likeliest outcome for Jones is it's interesting because I think the best case scenario could be quite good for him, but I mean it is Ronald Jones, and we've seen a lot of him, and it hasn't been too spectacular in Tampa Bay, but hopefully with in this new Andy Reid offense that he'll get some legs under him.
I personally don't think that he was really even given, a decent chance to be the guy in Tampa Bay. Anytime we did see Ronald Jones go, the reason being why he struggled so much, I believe, was because of the fact he fumbled the ball, right? You know what I mean? With that's one thing you got to learn with Arians. You fumble the ball, you're not going to be playing football, right?
That's same with Andy Reid,
yeah. So now you're going to take a look at, in that backfield, they did add Jerick McKinnon. They signed Jerick McKinnon again as well. So they got Ronald Jones, they got Clyde Hilaire, and then they got Jerick McKinnon. I think McKinnon's going to be that third down back. I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a training camp battle between Ronald Jones and Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. I think they regret. I do think they actually regret taking Clyde Hilaire. Just because he's kind of been a bust. He's been injured. He's been injured quite a bit. I do believe though, if Ronald Jones does get that opportunity, I think Ronald Jones can beat him out in training camp, and I think we could definitely see a Clyde Edwards-Hilaire possibly being traded at the start of the year, depending on what happens.
I think that Clyde Edwards-Hilaire is ideally built to be more of a Chase Edmonds type of role, where he gets maybe 10 carries, but is mainly used in the passing game. And I think ideally, again, that they would like Ronald Jones to be that guy in between the tackles running the ball. And then they bring out Clyde Edwards-Hilaire for most passing situations. And I think that's how they're going to run their backfield this year. And I think it'll benefit Clyde. I think we'll see him used more in the passing game in that offense, which when he got drafted, we all thought was going to happen.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess, but I haven't been a fan of Clyde Hilaire in quite some time. I don't think.
I drafted him in Dynasty. So
I know you did. I know you did. I do like Rojo. I do like Rojo and the opportunity that he's going to get in this offense. The guy I'll talk about real quick is another. This is a deep one for me. I'm going to go with Donta Foreman of the Panthers. Obviously back up to Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey's coming in hopefully healthy. I would love nothing more to see McCaffrey play a full 17 games, not sit out anytime, because I just want to see what he's got. I miss those days where he was playing 16 games and he was putting up some ridiculous numbers, because I still love watching him as a running back. I still do believe in him, but let's be realistic. He's played 10 total games in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. Not the most confident that he will stay on the field. Therefore, what I'm saying here is with Foreman, I mean, he came back to fantasy. He was fantasy relevant last year with the injury to Derrick Henry. He had 3 100-yard games, 3 touchdowns in the last 6 games that he played. And now he goes into a game where, obviously Chuba Hubbard's there, our Canadian boy Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
But I do feel as though Donta Foreman is more of a, built like a Derrick Henry type back. He's a bigger back. And I just think, I think he could have went elsewhere. I think he probably had opportunities to go sign elsewhere. He chose the Panthers because he's going to have a role. I think we're not going to see McCaffrey with his, 300, 400 plus touches. I don't think he's going to be on the field every down like he used to be. That's why I do think that Donta Foreman can be like that that backup that's going to be kind of a 1A 1B kind of to McCaffrey this year. And he's not even being drafted, I don't believe, right now from what from my understanding. I mean, unless it's like deep down there, but I'm already down in the 15th round and he's still not there. So I think I'm pretty sure he's going undrafted, but that's a guy that you can, if you could get him in the 20th round for nothing, I mean, what's the best thing? I mean, you can put him in as a flex spot, depending on how many touches he's going to get. If he's getting double-digit touches a game, that's flex worthy, in my opinion, for a running back.
Yeah,
right.
I think he's a guy that, I mean, a lot of people, you won't see him drafted in a lot of drafts, but everybody's sort of waiting and seeing on him.
Sorry,
because I agree.
I just found him. I just found him on here.
Oh,
he's going as RB 67 in the 14th round.
14th round. So, okay. So he is going though. Some guys are scooping him.
Yeah.
But so I think you're right that they need to dial back McCaffrey, and they saw that Chuba Hubbard couldn't handle if McCaffrey goes down at all. That Chuba Hubbard couldn't handle the running back duties. I mean, even Mike Davis was better than Chuba Hubbard. I mean, Hubbard he's a rookie, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was tough. He was thrown into a tough situation early. You'd like to see him learn a little bit more off of McCaffrey, watching him on the field. But hopefully we'll see that this year, But Foreman, they brought him in because he's a capable back. And I think that they won't lose much when McCaffrey goes on to the sidelines for his rest, because Foreman can, like we've seen it in Tennessee. Tennessee's run game is one of the best in the league. So we'll really see how good he is in Carolina. And I think he's going to put up some decent numbers, but I don't know. I'm not sure I would draft him. Like I would hope he would fall to waiver wire, and I would keep my eye on him for sure in the first couple weeks.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's just it. What we're here to do is to try to, bring some of these guys before they hit the waiver wire. If you have a spot, a spot on your bench, maybe just grab them beforehand and depending on where he's falling, just to, stash him for now, especially if you're a McCaffrey owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, give me another guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I'm going to stick with KC. Going wide receiver. I mean, the number one spot in there is wide open right now. They lose speed and they lose playmaking ability. And then they get Sky Moore into the fold. And what does this guy have? He's got speed and he's got playmaking ability. So I think right out of the gates, this guy is going in probably the 13th, 14th round. And right out of the gates, we're going to see this guy get some catches. I mean, it'll really depend on how he is in the training camp, but with what we've seen out of college from this kid and where the landing spot he got in KC, I think that he could be one of those sneaky late picks that could turn out well for you. And one of the biggest reasons is because there's no real number one guy in KC. I think the ball's going to be really spread out this year. And we're going to see probably, I mean, Mahomes likes to pass the ball, and that's how they score most of their points. Again, they don't have a great running game because their running back room is kind of crappy, to say the least, with CH and Ronald Jones. But and I think they're going to be throwing the ball again a lot this year. So, I mean, Hardman, Sky Moore, they got Juju. I mean, these guys, it could be one of those situations where every week one of them rises to the occasion and gets those big numbers, and it's just spread out the whole season.
Yeah, and they're going. Sky Moore's going in around the 12th round.
12th? Okay.
Yeah, the 12th round.
I got him at 13. So
yeah, I mean, it fluctuates, right? That's the thing. As of right now, that's what I'm looking at. And yeah, it's crazy to me that Juju. I mean, let's be realistic. Juju is a beast. I mean, from what we've seen, we know what he's capable of.
Well, I don't want to say a beast.
I'm not saying, well, when he's been given the opportunity, he's been pretty good. Okay, I wouldn't say beast. Yeah,
I wouldn't
right.
say that either. He was given an opportunity in Pittsburgh and he blew it.
Look at his
What?
quarterback. Give the guy a quarterback, and let's see what he
Ben's
can
not
do.
that bad. The year
He
before,
was
AB did fine with
he
Ben.
was brutal. He was brutal.
AB?
Antonio
AB.
Brown's trash.
When he was there with Juju, AB was the man, right? And then
Well,
AB
so
left, and Juju
yeah,
tried to do what AB did, and he couldn't do it.
but he after they finally got other receivers in, he was able to actually produce a little bit. I still think having the best quarterback in the league now, having Juju in KC, they signed him for a reason. I do like Sky Moore, and I like McCole Hardman as well. This team is going to throw a lot. I think still Travis Kelce is going to lead all these receivers in targets. Yeah. But as far as Zach goes, Juju's being drafted around the 8th round and Sky Moore in the 12th or 13th, whatever I just said. I wouldn't mind taking a chance on Sky Moore in the 13th round. I mean, because if you're taking,
I think he'll outperform Juju this year.
If you're taking Juju in the 8th round, I mean, you're you're passing up on a lot of guys like the number 1 in Jacksonville with Christian Kirk. We could talk about him. I mean, he's not going until the 10th round.
Yeah.
Like we just talked about him earlier too. Lazard. I'd rather have Lazard. I'd rather have Kirk. I'd rather have Gage ahead of Juju as far as I'm concerned right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as far as getting a guy like Sky Moore in the 12th round could pay dividends early and often for you actually once he gets on the field and gets that rapport with
his speed.
Mahomes.
He's gonna love it. Mahomes is gonna love his speed.
Another guy that I have on the receiving side is I talked about kind of touched on him a little bit early, or not in this episode, but in one's past, is Tim Patrick of the Broncos. This guy coming into the season, they realized what they had in this guy and they went out and they paid him, right? Gave him a 3-year, almost $35 million contract. He's been a consistent red zone threat, and you're playing with a quarterback such as Drew Lock and he's still producing. So the fact, I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay with Judy. I'm okay with Sutton. But if you take a look at what he has done in the past, I mean, he puts up more yards after the catch than either of those guys.
I think you'll get your best value out of Patrick.
Oh, you could get him
out of those 3 receivers.
He's going
for where you're going to get him.
In order to get Sutton or Judy, you're looking at early rounds, probably 5, 6 at the latest.
Yeah,
both those guys will be gone by the 6th round. You're getting Patrick at the 13th round and the 13th round for a guy that's going to be, okay, so say it, number 3 receiver on a Broncos-led offense by Russell Wilson.
Which has become one of the most fierce offenses in the league.
Exactly. I mean, you still got Albert O / Greg Dulcich. He's making waves right now as well. But I think that Tim Patrick and Russell Wilson are going to connect quite a bit this season. And you're the one that's going to be laughing when you're getting this guy in the 13th round when, everybody else passed up on, everyone passed him up, right? Because, I mean, if he doesn't get drafted, we're going to be talking about him every single week again on the waiver wire like we do every year. Right?
If he's out there in the 13th round in any of my drafts, I'm taking him, and I will laugh.
Exactly. He probably won't be because all of our buddies listen to this podcast. So,
they all go by what we say. Obviously,
clearly, they obviously they don't really like to listen to us. So I don't think. I bet you they don't even listen. I think T Scott throws it on in the truck. The kids are probably screaming, so he hears tidbits, and he'll talk about the things he doesn't like. Not the things he likes. He'll always just call somebody out on the things he doesn't like.
Well, that's because it gets us going.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to do.
But you know what?
Sinker.
You know what? T. Scott's our biggest fan. So
yeah, he is.
You're the man, Trev. You got give me one more guy. We'll do one more guy each here, and then we'll end this madness.
Okay. Let's do my man in Jacksonville, who's gonna help turn this team around this season. I've heard a lot of guys say that Jacksonville could be this year's what team was really good last year that was really, really crappy the year before?
Good question.
Anyway, I'm going to talk about James Robinson. We'll think about that.
J-Rob?
James Robinson, currently being drafted in the 13th round, according to my ADP.
And there you go, buddy. There you go.
Did we match on that one?
I'm not sure. Go ahead, keep talking. I'll find out.
When it comes to running backs coming back from Achilles injury, Dante Foreman stands out in 2021. He's one of the better success stories. Foreman rushed for 4.3 yards per carry and 133 carries. Robinson has his work cut out for him, but he's expected to be cleared during training camp, and he's shown 3-down skills. I mean, we've seen what this guy can do when he's healthy. He was he was putting up number one fantasy numbers. And the new Jaguars coach, Doug Peterson, he's showed a preference for using multiple backs in the past. And Travis Etienne also comes off a significant injury in his rookie year. Etienne is coming, so I think it's going to be a good split between these two guys. And if you're picking up Robinson in the 13th round, I think you're going to get some good bang for your buck there. There's room for Robinson to carve a significant role in this offense.
As long as he comes in healthy, I'm not against that. He's been amazing when he has been on the field. Tough loss that he had last year when he did go down, but I mean they have high hopes for Etienne. They drafted him high. He's still got that that rapport with Trevor Lawrence, I'm sure. So I do think that Etienne's going to see a little bit more action, but if Robinson does get on there, I do believe that he's going to make it a little bit hard for them to not run him out there a little bit more, as long as he comes back fully healthy.
Yeah, both these guys coming off injury. I mean, I'm sure they don't want to rush Etienne in either. And like Peterson has used at least 2 backs in Philly. We see him use like 3 or 4 sometimes. And he's got 2 viable backs here that I think they're both going to get some good workload.
Yeah, I like it. The last guy I'll talk about, another running back, is Tyler Algier. Is that his name? Is that how you say it? Algier? Rookie for the Falcons. No Mike Davis there now. You got Cordarrelle Patterson, which, I'm saying it right now, Patterson is going to be a bust this year. And he's going way too high in drafts, but feel free to draft him whenever you want. You know what? Tyler Algier is going to be he is going to lead this backfield in touches. They've already come out and said that they don't want to, they want to kind of keep Patterson as that kind of gimmick player, but this team has no receivers. The fact they lost Russell Gage, they have no Calvin Ridley, so they got Patterson. Patterson can't be touching the ball 42 times a game. You know what I mean? As far as running and catching the ball, I can't do it all. I think they went out and got Tyler Algier. Now this guy, let's talk about Patterson real quick. 52 passes last year for 550 yards, 5 touchdowns. He could get moved back out to the receiver position, no problem. He's obviously, we know what he can do. They need a guy in that backfield that's a consistent runner that can, be a security blanket for, Mariota or, a Desmond Ridder, whichever one. And then, you got Damian Williams in the backfield as well. He's definitely going to be better than Damian Williams. I think Damian Williams is was a depth signing. But, Atlanta is going to score no matter what. They're going to probably be one of the worst offenses in the league. But they're going to score.
Yeah.
They're going to get down to the red zone. They're going to get, on the 1-yard line. That's where I do think Tyler Algier is going to be the guy that's going to step in and do that. His ADP is slowly creeping up. Last time I looked, he was getting drafted in about the 11th, 12th round. Last time I looked at this, he was getting drafted later, but now I think he's in the 10th or the 11th round right now. And there's a few actual rookie running backs that you should look at. Just touch on another one super quick. Won't spend too much time on him. Damian Pierce of the Texans. Take a look at him. You got Marlon Mack, Rex Burkhead, and Daro Gabawali or whatever the hell his name is. Yeah. These guys aren't big names. They don't scare me. You got a rookie as in Damian Pierce. The Texans never draft a running back that early. They went and got him in the 4th round. To me, that's, when teams go and draft a guy in the 2nd round, you talk about draft capital. you talk about the Texas drafting a running back in the 4th round, that's draft capital.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Mac coming back will be good. I mean, he showed some flashes last year, but I still think he's just Marlon Mack. He's nothing special. Right. And then Burkhead was fantasy relevant last year. And I think they're going to be the ones that are going to be fighting, it's going to be between Burkhead and Dare Ugambuwali. I think they're going to be fighting for that for that backup spot, the third running back. But as far as that goes, I mean, Pierce has a size. He's big, he's quick, and I think he can have that workhorse role at the NFL level. So, I mean,
He's
that's
the most talented guy in that backfield for sure.
Yeah, I'm
like,
really
you're saying,
really interested.
Yeah, me too. And I'm a little higher on Mac myself over Burkhead. I think he sort of got the short end of the stick in Indy when Taylor bust onto the scene because he had that big injury. I mean, it sucks when it happens like that, but I mean, even Mac was running pretty good before Taylor came along. But as far as the Atlanta situation goes, I agree. Patterson is getting drafted way too friggin' high. And I think there's going to be a huge drop off for this guy. Their backfield is wide open. It's going to be tough to see where they're going to get the points from this year. I mean, like you said, they're going to be one of the worst offenses in the league. I mean, Pitts has got to get his touchdowns. Other than that, like short yardage, I agree. I agree.
Algier, I believe.
Yeah. He's probably going to be their guy who they go to to get those short yardage touchdowns, but it's going to be tough to see him getting drafted either.
Exactly.
But like you said, somebody's got to run the ball there, and they don't have much else. He's sort of the only guy you don't know that you just don't know much about. So might as well draft him.
Well, and the Falcons haven't had a run game. Let's be realistic, in years.
Yeah.
Since Michael Turner was there way back in the day.
That's Jax.
There you
buddy.
go. Yeah, that's true too. But anyways, so yeah, awesome episode. I hope we kind of gave everybody a little bit of a few guys out there to take a look at in later rounds in their drafts. And don't forget, if you haven't already, go and head over to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fantasy Football from Up North. Hit the bell for notifications when we do put episodes out. We will be doing a lot more episodes. I like that. A lot more episodes throughout the season. There'll be a lot more little quick hit episodes that we'll be doing on news and notes, and if anything happens important and stuff like that. So, and also leave us a 5-star review on Apple iTunes if you guys can. All those reviews go a long way, please. And it would be muchly appreciated.
We need them.
So I appreciate all y'all for listening, and until next time, peace. All right, cool. So I will whatchamacallit,